Hey boys and girls, today we're going to be going over the Module 11 quiz review. For the first problem, it wants you to figure out which multiplication expression is equivalent to 12 divided by 1/9. So we're going to follow the keep, change, flip rule. I'm going to keep my dividend, 12. I'm going to change my operation from division to multiplication. And then I'm going to flip my divisor from 1/9 to 9/1. Based on my options, I already know that if I'm going to keep my dividend, then I can't possibly choose C or D because they flipped my dividend. Okay? And then same thing goes for option A. They kept my divisor. I have to flip my divisor, so I can't possibly have A as my option. And if you're noticing, this 9 is not over 1. Another way to read 9/1 is just as 9. 9 divided by 1 equals 9. So this is equal to saying 12 times 9, meaning that the answer for question number 1 is B. Okay? For question number 2, I'm going to type out my information over here on the side for my WIC. It says that Mr. DeMarco poured the leftover 1/5 of a large pot of coffee equally into 3 mugs. Which equation can be used to find the part of the pot of coffee he poured into each mug? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to figure out what my total amount is based on what I just read. Now remember, the total amount in a situation is something that's never going to change. And my divisor is the number of groups that I have, the number of things that I can put things into. Now based on that knowledge, I can see that my 1/5 of the pot of coffee, that's all I have at the end of the day. That's never going to change. So that is going to be my total amount here. 1/5 of a large pot of coffee. And remember what I said about the divisor. It is the amount of groups. So it's the amount of things that I could put things into. I can put the coffee equally into the 3 mugs. So that means the 3 mugs is my number of groups. And what we're looking for is the amount of coffee poured into each mug. So that is my quotient. That's what I'm looking for. Amount of coffee put into each mug. Now I can go ahead and write out my equation and see how I can solve for it. So I have my dividend, which we said is 1/5. Already, just by seeing that, I can eliminate 2 options. If my dividend is 1/5, I can't start with 3 as my option. I now have 2 options left, C and D. I know I'm going to be dividing because that's my equation. Okay, I start with my dividend, I divide with my divisor, and I get my answer, which is my quotient. Okay, so I have 1/5 divided by the 3 mugs. Okay, I'm taking that 1/5 amount of coffee, dividing it equally into the 3 mugs, and that would give me my answer, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm going to put Q for now to represent my quotient. I'm going to grab another color so we can see how we can keep, change, flip this equation. I'm going to keep the 1/5. I'm going to change my operation from division to multiplication, and I'm going to flip my fraction from 3, and remember it's a whole number, so it's really 3/1, to 1/3. Now I can multiply as normal. 1 times 1 equals 1, and 5 times 3 equals 15. And again, if we're keeping our equation, it's 1/5 divided by 3, and then I got 1/15. Okay, it doesn't make sense if you chose C. If you look at the answer, they got 3/5. If the answer was this way, that what they're doing is they just did this. 1 times 3 is 3. And they did 5 times 1, which is 5. That doesn't work because now they somehow put 3/5 of the pot of coffee into each mug when there was only 1/5 to start with in the beginning. That doesn't make sense. That's like saying you only have $10 and you're giving it equally to 3 people and somehow you gave $30 to each person? That's not how that works. Okay, let's go on to number 3. It says a city placed 10 new stop signs along the road that is half a mile long. If the stop signs are evenly spaced, what is the distance between each stop sign? Again, Let's identify what the total amount is, okay? What here can never, ever, ever change? Is it the number of stop signs along the road, or is it how long the road is? Again, I'm going to read it. A city placed 10 new stop signs along the road. That is half a mile long. If the stop signs are evenly spaced, what is the distance between each stop sign? Now, here my distance is going to be my dividend, okay? At the end of the day, no matter what, half the mile is how much I have. That's not going to change. They could always add new signs or not add any more signs, okay? So half the mile is my dividend. Then my number of groups is 10 stop signs. And what I'm looking for is amount of distance between each stop sign. Okay? And again, you would have to set up your division equation and then keep, change, flip. Same thing happens for number 4. Natalia wrote a page of her essay in 1/3 of an hour. How many pages does she write in 6 hours? Again, you need to identify what is your total amount here, what is your number of group, and how much goes into each group. Again, boys and girls, think about what cannot change here, okay? And then think about when you get your answer, what makes the most sense? Would you get more or less than what you already started with? Here it says a baker needs to make 24 cupcakes for a customer. She mixes 8 cupcakes of batter. If the baker uses 1/4 cup of batter for each cupcake, does she have enough batter to make all the cupcakes? You're going to have to, again, identify your dividend and your divisor and see how many cupcakes you can make, and then see, no, she doesn't have enough, and tell me how much she can make, or she does have enough, and then tell me how much she can make. Here, again, you are just writing a related multiplication equation to solve. You are going to keep, change, flip as your equation, and then tell me what did you get as your answer. Same thing here, keep, change, flip. What did you get as your answer? And finally, for 8, 9, and 10, it is the same thing. You are reading the word problems, and now you are responding in short answer to the word problems. Okay? As always, boys and girls, if you have any questions, please comment below, and I will see you at WebEx at 1 p.m. to review all this for your module quiz review, which is exactly like your quiz tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls.